and why they're doing it. Maybe.
Let's talk about Gary Keller being accused of embezzlement
Oh
in
man,
this updated racketeering lawsuit. Like I said earlier, the man caught a RICO.
he's a gangster.
He's a realtor with a RICO.
Yeah, I wanted to be the first realtor with a RICO, but I guess he took it. It fucking has to be Gary Keller. He has to be the best at everything.
Bro, I asked the question, like, is this man stamped in the community now?
Does he get to use that? Does he get the pass? Does he
No, he can't say the N-word. But we might invite him to the barbecue. We might, just for the stories. You know what I'm saying? We might invite him to the barbecue.
He doesn't get a pass, y'all. No one gets a pass. No one gets a pass.
All right, so let me break it down to y'all what's happening. I ain't even going to read this because I done read it before. So I'm going to just...
You have a video that you're going to drop on breaking it all down.
Exactly. I got a whole little thing that's going to break down the whole shebang. I'm trying to move this over. There we go. So y'all can read it while we, like, right here on it.
Yeah.
But, and I'll follow it. So John Davis, this guy right here.
Suing my boy Gary Keller.
Damn, I can't even get the damn. Oh, here we go. John Davis. So John Davis is the ex-CEO of Keller Williams, right? He is suing Gary Keller and Keller Williams, well, specifically Gary Keller, for embezzlement. So Keller Williams is a brokerage, international brokerage. They franchise their brokerage to other franchisees for a fee, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? The fee that they charge comes from brokers capping. So Keller Williams has a capping structure. When you have sold or made the company X amount of dollars, you capped. You hit your commission cap, now you get to keep 100% of your commission.
Right.
So the money that they made from that cap, they use to pay the franchise fee to the original Keller Williams, right? I.e. to Gary Keller.
The one who created all
this.
The one
who created it. John Davis is alleging that Gary Keller takes that money, that profit from that money, and uses it for extra business activities. Like extracurricular activity.
Yeah,
I don't even know if that's right. That's the word to say.
It's right but it does. You made it sound actually nicer than what they're making it sound in this.
Yeah, well, what he's saying is that, okay, he used it to start different businesses. If you look here, they say he used it to start, and Gary Keller's, son John Keller, as well as 72 Soul. So he used it to start 72 Soul. He used it to start KWX. I know it said like specifics in here before.
72 sold. Which I don't know what that is.
Okay, so right here it says Davis's original complaint.
Oh, you gotta. Yeah, there you go.
So Davis's original complaint stated that after the franchisees signed a contract, the defendants then required franchisees to adopt KWRI's present market cap, which is the market cap, the $18,000 to $20,000 that you pay.
Yeah.
Which is the fee agents pay their market centers. Davis alleges that these fees went to increasing technology fees and the purchase of unneeded goods and services from Keller Williams Realty International, owned and affiliated companies such as MAPS Training and Coaching.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is he calling MAPS Training and Coaching an unneeded good and service in the real estate market?
I think he's calling it more of a technology thing. But what he's saying is that
increasing okay.
So the amended complaint here. Let me just keep reading. The amended complaint goes further, accusing Gary Keller of allegedly operating under a practice and pattern of improperly using fees collected from franchisees for purposes outside the accepted and defined use of fees for both personal gain and to fund additional Keller Williams owned entities. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
all right. According to the filing, Keller pockets some of these funds for himself and his son, John Keller, but also uses the funds to create other businesses, which he then forces franchisees to buy into. The example of this cited in the complaint, 72 Soul, which is a Leeds company. Keller is part of a joint venture with 72 Soul and owns 49%.
It sounds like he just wants to audit him, though. You know what I mean? Like he just wants. Like he's just saying, like, because in all reality, like I think the way that Keller Williams is structured is that it's an entity in and of itself. It's a business entity with an LLC and all this shit. So because it's like that, Gary Keller is an employee of this entity, thus being the CEO, right? Like the president, right, of all of it. That would be the first in line into this employment status on this company, this LLC, because the checks weren't written out to Keller Williams, but as opposed to Gary Keller, maybe that's why they're trying to fuck him.
I think that they are right in terms of when you start a business, there are business arrangements, business agreements, business plans. You know what I'm saying? There are all these things that tell you what funds are allocated for what. There are, you know, there's budgets, all of this stuff. Like it tells you, hey, the money that comes from here is going to go to do this. And that money from there is going to go to pay these people. And then this, boom, it tells you where every dollar is supposed to go.
Yeah, so everything's written down.
So if this money from the franchisees are supposed to go to, or go back into the business, or go to pay employees, or whatever the case is, if that's where the money is supposed to go and it's not going there, that is a problem, right? Is that embezzlement or racketeering? I don't know. I mean,
but okay. So the way that you kind of described it, because we're talking about, we would assume the way that you described it, we would assume that they already had the conversation that they've structured all of the way that the funds are going to be going to the directions they need to go, and because this is the case, John Davis is now saying that that actually isn't the case because there's money that Gary Keller was pocketing and using for his own personal gain. And I mean, how do you? But here's the whole issue with that, bro. Like, I mean, because at the end of the day, like, especially if you were the first person to create this employment, this business, and you're talking about your business that you created, you're not getting paid by them. You're just taking the money and you're just reaping the benefit of this money.
Yes,
you know what I
you
mean?
are
Like
taking the money from here and you're going to buy yachts.
Yeah.
And you're going on vacations. And
well, he was buying all this other shit.
Yeah.
Like the 72
And you're also taking the money from this business, the money that's not allocated for this business, to go start or to go fund 72 Sold. And you also have poor business practices or patterns that are, I don't want to say forcing, even though they said forcing in here, but you are incentivizing the people who own these franchisees to or own the franchises, to invest in the other companies that you are starting. Yeah. This is eerily reminiscent to what happened to our brokerage. The OP, which in the grand scheme of Keller Williams, Gary Keller is the OP, right?
Yeah.
So our OP at our small brokerage is stealing money, quote unquote stealing money. Her and her husband owned 51% of that Keller Williams branch. So the profit that was coming into the branch, they were taking money out the profit to go buy trucks, go on trips, things of that nature, right? Yeah. So this brokerage inevitably shut down.
Yeah.
And this OP, her and her husband, was told that they could never own a Keller Williams office again. So if Gary Keller is actually doing this, if this accusation is true, is this learned behavior? Like, is it other franchises that's doing this? One. Two, they also had other business ventures outside of Keller Williams that they were incentivizing other investors in that market center to invest in, i.e. the title company. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So they got in trouble for the same thing, embezzlement, racketeering. It's the same thing. Is this the culture of Keller Williams to be doing this?
But let me ask you a question. It's kind of like if I sell you this beer and I say, Michael, this beer is fucking spoiled. I mean, no. It's really like it's spoiled, but I promise you, you're gonna feel the drunkest, the highest. Like it's gonna put you to the best feeling in the world ever.
Top tier yeast.
Yes, top tier yeast. But right after, bro, you're gonna feel like shit. You're like it's not gonna be good. And you decide to buy it. Whose fault is it that you feel like shit afterwards? Is it my fault? Is it your fault?
It's. I mean, if you explained it that way, it's my fault for sure.
Yeah, I feel like when people are coming into this business, especially the Gary Keller model, and when you're high up there, they kind of start talking about certain aspects about, hey, listen, this, because the way I see it is a lot of the times they're using these type of money, like maybe this isn't the right way to go about it, but it's not like they're in a sense, they're not screwing anyone over as long as you actually pay the ends that need to get paid off at the end of the day. Because from what it sounds like, Gary Keller is just looking for different ways to constantly make money so that if whatever reason something does fall apart on the Keller Williams side and this, like he can take care of it on that end. And then he also, think about it, Gary Keller uses a lot of the money to invest in Keller Williams. Keller Williams, and I think you said in the video before, has one of the greatest education systems to date when it comes down to any type of brokerage. And perhaps the reason for that is because of the way that they handle certain situations on the business end. It might not be correct and it might not actually be legal.
Right.
But who is it actually hurting in this case? Because I understand if checks aren't being signed, that's a problem. But it doesn't sound like checks aren't being signed. It sounds like, hey, my check was delayed a few months because Gary Keller had invested in 72 Sold and he paid me after 5 months. You know what I mean? And that's where some bullshit's kind of happening. And this happened to me, and that's why I'm going to sue him because at the end of the day, bro, like it might not be the right way to go about it, but it's like I said, bro, like if I tell you, hey, this is how we're systemizing our entire, like I'm telling you, this is the beer, bro. This is how I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like this is the beer. It's got yeast. It's going to fuck you up.
But this is what I think the problem is, bro.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that he didn't tell them, hey, this
Maybe you
beer,
didn't have that
this
conversation.
beer is gonna fuck you up.
He didn't tell
He
them.
didn't tell them that. He told them, hey, yo, this is the best beer out here.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Just take it, indulge in it, and then on the back end, it turns out that this isn't really.
It kind of fucked you up.
This isn't really the best beer out here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'd rather drink a Bud Light, really, besides drinking this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what's really happening. Like,